Today, we're gonna be trying to make our very own homemade seasoning powder. Now last week I said, I hope I don't mess it up. Well, let's find out. If you weren't here last week, make sure you go check out our last video so you know what we're up to today. We harvested our onions and our parsley right here, straight out the garden bed on the homestead. Chopped it all up, and then we set everything up to go air dry for about a week. No dehydrator, no fancy equipment, just some sun and a little bit of patience. Okay, so moment of truth right here. It's been about 7 days, give or take. You wanna know what really makes or breaks this process here? One word, brittle. These bad boys right here, if they aren't brittle, if they got any give to them, any moisture at all, we can't grind them up because they'll just turn into a paste instead of a powder. And ain't nobody wanting onion paste seasoning. So, I got 2 different batches right here. Let me tell you why. This batch right here was the original batch that you saw in the last video that we set out to dry. And I know I said that you don't need a dehydrator, and you don't. However, for this, I'd probably get you a dehydrator. I had this outside because we wanted to sun dry them, right? I forgot. Got some rain on it. I did the oven trick. You can put them in the oven for a little bit, and that should help a little bit. So we're gonna find out if that worked with this. But I got a backup batch right here that we dried inside. Also did the little oven trick because this was only like 3 days. Case in point, if you're gonna make a seasoning powder, let's be a little bit more efficient. Sometimes we're gonna have to go ahead and spend a little bit of money on some equipment. And this is one thing I would spend a little bit of money on some equipment for it. Get you a dehydrator. That way you don't mess anything up. My case in point, you see how that's still bendy? It doesn't crack at all. No good. And most of these, I mean, there's some. So like we could probably keep some out of this batch, little pieces, but like the majority, just bendy. Meaning there's probably still moisture in there. They got rained on, yada, yada, yada. However, this batch I hear. You hear that right there? Did you hear that? Let me show you again. That right there is what we want to hear. This one's bendy, so no good. So this batch is mostly bad. Thankfully, this batch is good. Now we can go check the parsley. And parsley, it's pretty much the same deal, right? You want it crumbly. You know what I'm saying? Just like you want it crumbly. You want it to literally break apart in your hands like that. So our parsley, I'm making a mess already. But it looks like our parsley is good to go. We put it inside, put a little fan on it for a couple of days, and you can see parsley turned out perfect. So now we're gonna take these onions that are good, this parsley here, we're gonna start grinding it up. So first thing, before you start grinding, you just wanna make sure that you have everything cut up into very small pieces. I already went ahead and did that. We chopped up the parsley, we chopped up the onions into very small pieces. That's just gonna make it easier for blending and grinding. The smaller you can break it up, the finer that the powder is gonna be, right? Let's go ahead and drop this stuff into the blender, get it grinded up. That's a nice powder, actually. That came out great. Oh, dude, that smells nice. That smells like parsley. That smells like parsley, you know what I'm saying? Now let's get the onion in there, get that grinded up. Okay, so I don't think our onion powder quite worked. I mean, you can look in there. It's not really a powder. It's more like a paste, like I said, if it was still too wet. And I grab a clump. I mean, look, yeah, I can feel that. It's still too wet. I can feel the moisture. So, unfortunately, the onion didn't work for us. And that right there is where I'm going to say the dehydrator is going to be beneficial for this kind of project. I would definitely go out and get you a dehydrator. Make sure it actually gets dry so you don't leave it outside and forget it in the rain. Nonetheless, our parsley powder came out great. We can at least do a little taste test of that. So I got a couple eggs here, right from the old backyard. You know how it is. Now it's the real real moment of truth here. How is this gonna taste? Let's find out. Here we go. I don't know how parsley is really supposed to taste. I've never really had parsley before. But if I had to say, like, a little grassy, kind of, with like a little hint of sweetness, maybe, if that makes sense. I don't know if the grassy part is because maybe my drying process was wrong. I don't really know. It doesn't taste bad, but I think it could taste better. I think we could do better. The good thing is, we know how to do the process now. We know what works. We know what doesn't work. All in all, not too bad. Again, I've never had parsley before. That's why I wish the onion would have worked out, but we messed up a little bit. We left it outside a little too long. Didn't realize it was gonna rain. When I realized it was raining and I realized the onions were still outside, it looks like it was a little too late. But nonetheless, that's why we're gonna go out. We're gonna get a dehydrator for this because I really want to start this little journey in making our own seasoning. I think this is perfect. And possibly a little business venture. Who knows? But we got to go get a dehydrator. And I think you can get like special grinders. There's like, I looked on Google, there's like herb grinders and stuff like that. If you know anything about this, let me know down in the comments. But I don't think the blender is the way to go for the long run. Right now, for a little sample testing, it worked, at least for the parsley. The onions, I think it would have worked for the onions if they were more dry, but they weren't as dry. I want to give this one more sample test here. I feel like I'm getting a little bit of lemony taste too. It's actually not bad, but all in all, I mean, parsley was a success. Onion, not so much, but we know what we need to do for next time we try this. I mean, like, think about it. We planted a seed, we watered that seed, we watched it grow, and then we pulled it out of the ground with our own hands, dried it up, and we made our own homemade seasoning powder. I think this is going to be a cool little adventure to keep going on, keep learning, and sharing this journey with the masses. I mean, talk about literally dirt to the table. And look, I say this in every video, and I'm going to keep saying it in every video. If you're in an apartment, you can do this too. A couple of pots over on your balcony, on a windowsill, some onions, some herbs, that's it. You don't need land. You don't need a homestead. You just need to start. So I hope you all enjoyed today's video. I hope you learned something new today. I know I did. Most importantly, I hope you got inspired. Inspired to take that next step and just start this journey to self-sufficiency, my friend. Trust me, you're not going to regret it. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're doing this every week. Thank you all for tuning in to the channel. Thank you all for watching another video here on Mundo's Homestead Adventures. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.